Do you sell on Mercari? And if you do, have you had any problems with the platform so far since you've been selling on it? I just had my first frustrating experience with it today. I've only been on Mercari for a year and a half, a little bit longer, and everything's been really good so far. It was just today that I had this little frustrating moment, and I went onto Google and did some Googling to find more information out and came across even more frustrating things that have happened to other people that were even worse than what happened to me. And I'm just feeling a little frustrated with Mercari. So guys, this is what happened to me. I sold this fun teapot. It was a really, really great sale for me. I picked it up for $2 and it sold for $180. And I just, initially my first thought process was, oh no, I just sold this super expensive item. Now I've got to deal with shipping it, and I hope that I don't get scammed. What is insurance like on Mercari? I just had a lot of thoughts going in my mind. I mean, I was thrilled that it was on Mercari because fees aren't quite as high on Mercari. So I got the item all shipped out. I was super careful packaging it to make sure that everything was just right so that it would make it across the country to California, which is where it was going, safely without breaking, because it was a $180 item. So this package, it was a ceramic teapot. It was already in its own box that it originally came in, and it had the styrofoam packaging all around it. So it was really secure in its original box. There was a little bit of space at the top. So I added some extra bubble wrap and some of the foam paper stuff up in that section to make sure that there was a lot of cushion up in that top area. So then I took the box and I wrapped it in bubble wrap a few times, and I taped down the corners so the corners had some, I taped it just right so that there was cushion around the corners. And then I wrapped it from the other side a couple of times. And then I stuck that box inside another larger box, and I crumpled up a whole bunch of packing paper and put it all over the bottom, and then I packed all around the sides with more packing paper and more packing paper on the top, crumpled up, and then I shut the box and turned it upside down. There was absolutely no shifting. It was staying put. So I mean, unless somebody like chucked this at the ground or something, this box, this inside box was not going to hit up against the outer box in any way. And so I felt really comfortable about it getting there safely the way that I packaged it. I also, once I sealed it up, I then put fragile stickers all over the box to make sure that they were extra careful with it. And it ended up going with UPS ground. So it was in their system for several days with this box getting transported from here to there to here to there, from this truck to this truck, whatever, UPS does when they ship it ground all the way across the country. So I got a notification last night that said that it was delivered, and I was like, oh good. And of course then I'm a little bit nervous, what happens if it did get broken somehow? I don't even know what that looks like on Mercari because I'm too new and I've not had that experience happen to me yet. Like, do they come to you first or do they go straight to Mercari? And so I didn't hear anything until this afternoon, and it just said, you need to leave a rating for your buyer to receive your funds. You've been rated. So I go and I rate the buyer like I always do. I just say, great, thanks. And then I go up to my profile and I check it to see what they wrote in their feedback. And I was a little frustrated that they ended up giving me 3 stars for this teapot and this long paragraph of a really great but not so great review. I also learned while doing this that there seems to not be any kind of a limit on characters on the reviews on Mercari, because this one was kind of long. It definitely would not have flown on eBay. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you what they said. Wonderful experience. Completely kept me in the loop of the delivering process. Received my rare ceramic teapot undamaged. Thank you. Although I was quite shocked that it wasn't wrapped in more carefully in bubble wrap or packaging peanuts inside the outer shipping box. Just had paper for support. Since this is such a rare item, I expected to handle with exceptional care. All in all, great delivery service. I'm like, what? Like, I get it. I get it. Everybody has their differences in opinion. Obviously, my opinion of what good shipping is different than her opinion. Apparently, if you don't have packing peanuts in a package, it's not well packaged. I'm just frustrated because, one, I did have bubble wrap around the package, and she makes it look like I just tossed it in there with some paper, which is not true. And really, if I had done such a lousy job packaging it, would it have made it to her without breaking? I mean, I get that maybe she's frustrated with the packaging and she would have used peanuts or whatever, but it did get to her safely. There was nothing wrong with it. So maybe something you might want to leave in your comment, but is it really worth knocking off stars for? I personally don't think so. I wouldn't have done that. I may have mentioned, oh, you know, it would have been nice if there was packing peanuts, if that was my opinion, and still given them 5 stars because I got it. They had great service. Everything was fine. It was exactly what I wanted in the condition that I wanted. The end, right? I'm a little frustrated though because I did some research and it looks like you cannot change feedback on Mercari like you can on eBay. If this would have been on eBay, I would have just gone in and added to the comment. Well, first, if it would have been negative, I would have fought it. I would have gone and talked to the buyer and tried to work things out with the buyer so that we could have the negative removed. But in the least, even if that wouldn't have worked out, I would have gone back and left a follow-up comment explaining my side, saying that, you know, it was already in styrofoam, that it was bubble wrapped, so that future buyers don't think that I'm a horrible packager. So like I was saying, because I was frustrated, I went online and I looked it up on Mercari to see if it's even possible to have it removed or what happens in these kinds of circumstances. And I found this section on their questions help center section of their website, and this is what it says. I received an unfair rating. Ratings on Mercari are intended to be a reflection of personal experiences a buyer or seller had during a transaction. We believe ratings create trust and transparency in the marketplace. Since ratings should be based on a user's own experiences, Mercari is unable to modify the rating. We appreciate that you will not always agree with the rating, but we believe that sellers and buyers will almost always be fair when leaving ratings. As the overall rating is an average of all ratings received, those providing great experiences will have positive ratings outweighing negative ones. And fortunately for me, that is the case. I have 122 transactions, and I think I've got 5 stars on all of them, except for I've got one that's 4 stars, and now this one that is 3 stars. But like on my little chart, when you look at my profile, it looks like I have 5 stars. Unless you went and read through the reviews, it would look like 5 stars. And so that is a bonus. But if you were a smaller seller or you just barely started selling on Mercari, it could really hurt to have somebody give you a 1-star feedback, especially if it was a dishonest one where they're not even telling the truth or where they're in the wrong, not the seller. So then of course on Google, as I'm looking this up, I'm coming across more sellers that have had issues on Mercari with their feedback system. And let me tell you guys, mine is not even the worst of some of the things that have happened to some of these other poor sellers. There are people on there. One person was saying that they sold a Lego set and they had pictures of this set and said that it was not a complete set. It was missing some pieces. There were no boxes in the pictures, and then the buyer got it and gave them a 1-star rating and was complaining that it was not new in the box. Right, so clearly they didn't read the description and that was not true, but this poor seller had to just take it. There was another seller who said that they got a 1-star review because somebody had ordered something and it didn't fit them. And of course, the seller said that they had all of the measurements listed in the description. So obviously the buyer wasn't paying attention and reading through everything when they bought it. Another seller said that they got a bad rating on Mercari because the buyer claimed that they found the item for a better price, and therefore the seller was essentially being dishonest and that they were never going to trust anyone ever again. Kind of a scenario, right? Like obviously they didn't do their research. That's kind of their own fault. That has nothing to do with the seller. And we're free to price however you want to price. It's your, it's the buyer's fault for not doing research, and they're the one that agreed to buy it, right? Anyway, it's just frustrating. Anyway, all of these things, all of these sellers were just stuck with this feedback. And like I said, if you've got a lot of feedback, then whatever. But it does stink for smaller sellers or for sellers who are brand new, because you do have that weighing you down. Fortunately for me, I have had, like I said, 122 other reviews, and they allow you to check different things off when you leave a review. So like they can say like great packaging, friendly, quick shipper, different things like that. And I've got like 58 ratings that said great packaging. And so I think anybody that went into my store, or whatever you want to call it, I guess on eBay it's a store, anybody that goes on to my section in Mercari will see all of those other great packaging, great packaging, great packaging, and will probably sense that something is up. And really in the end, I don't sell hardly anything that's breakable anyways. So nobody's really going to care so much about peanuts when it's a plush that they bought, or a pair of jeans, or a pair of shoes, like those kinds of things really don't need a ton of extra packaging with it. So yeah, anyways, something to keep in mind if you are new to selling on Mercari, or if you've been selling for a while and things are going good. Be aware that you could at any time get unwarranted bad feedback, and there's nothing you can do about it. So if you can just keep this in mind and realize that everybody is getting it, everybody's feedback is going to have a little bit of something, it sounds like, on Mercari eventually, then maybe when it does happen, it won't hurt as bad, and you'll be able to roll it off and to move on and to get back into the swing of getting listed and not get sunk down and bothered by it, which a lot of us struggle with doing. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this video and maybe learned something new. And please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear if you've had any other bad experiences on Mercari, or if you've had negative ratings that weren't really justified. I would love to hear about it, and we can all learn together. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you all next time.